short and sweet, because this is a huge topic and I want to bring it back to the issue of science and faith. You gave as an example of the perfection of creation and therefore the existence of God, your eye, your nose, your mouth. Then how do you explain cancer?
That's a very good question, and the issue of suffering is one that concerns all of us. And,
no, cancer,
yeah,
not
that's
suffering.
what I'm talking about. Yeah. Firstly, I've never used the word perfection of creation. It's very important to understand that the Bible says we live in a fallen creation. We don't have kids with cancer. We have 40,000 children every 24 hours die of starvation. We have cancerous diseases throughout this nation. We have earthquakes that crush families in their homes. People get struck by lightning. I mean, suffering is all around us.
No, sir, excuse me. I'm gonna force this issue. You gave an example of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and you want, the point of that was that we are supposed to believe that the Lord created this perfect machine. Now, this perfect machine often goes very wrong.
Yeah, I'd like you not to butt in again, because it's very important I keep my train of thought, okay? Because I'm trying to answer your question. I want to be respectful. It's a very important question, the issue of suffering. All around us we see suffering.
It's not the question.
Cancer, okay, I'll say cancer. All around us we have things like cancer. We have cancer of all different sorts. Children get cancer. Why does God allow suffering? Here is the answer. The Bible tells us we live in a fallen creation. In the beginning, God created everything perfect. No disease, no cancer, no suffering, no death. As by the sin of one man, or death entered the world, death passed on all men, the Bible says, because all have sinned. So don't use suffering as an excuse to reject God, because it's a very real reason to accept Him. Because the Bible tells us why we have suffering. We live in a fallen creation. It's very, very clear.
Here, I would like to answer that cancer question that the lady has. For one thing, it disproves evolution for her to bring that up. And I wish Ray and Kurt were smart enough, or quick enough. They are smart enough. They probably just weren't thinking about it. But if they're saying we're always evolving into something better, into more spiritual, into more this and that, why haven't we evolved away from disease? But instead we have more diseases now that we're making names up for, new names for new diseases. We're getting cancer is increasing every year, not going down. All diseases are increasing, not going down. What happened to evolution if we're supposed to be evolving into something much greater? I mean, if we went from a monkey to a human and all we keep doing is getting sick, because I don't see many monkeys with cancer that I know of anyway. We should have stayed a monkey if you're an evolutionist. Stay a monkey, because you're much healthier. But the thing is, evolution, this disproves cancer, or diseases disprove evolution is true. We're not evolving. We're breaking down, because God's going to eventually rebuild us anew. And the thing is, the Bible tells us what kind of foods to eat and not eat. It tells us how to live. But we don't live the way the Bible tells us. The Bible says don't eat pork. We eat pork. We eat everything that's in a pig. Even though it eats its own feces, we still eat the pig, knowing that we're eating crap anyway. And we eat lobster, shrimp, shellfish, stuff like that, things that are just slimy and gross. God says not to, because they're not clean. Maybe some of these things that we eat that aren't clean are kind of toxic and cause cancer. I'm sure if you eat a little bit and don't eat none for a while in between, but if you're eating a lot of it, eventually it's going to break down your body. Eventually something's going to take and you're going to get sick. And when you do that, and if you're eating that kind of way and you're pregnant with a child, then that would probably explain why some children come out with already having cancer. Because what you eat, the child eats. And as it's growing, I mean, that's probably one of the quickest ways to give a baby cancer, is because, man, you're feeding that right to them when they shouldn't have it. So anyway, cancer lady, stop blaming God. You can see that she doesn't believe in God, but she's angry at him. So she knows they exist, but she doesn't believe in them, and she's mad at him. She's totally confused. But if she would read the Bible, she would realize that she's been living opposite of what God has told her. and she wants to blame God for everything that's not going right in her life. And one of it has to be obviously cancer. And the thing is, try living by the Bible. Anyway, that's all I want to say. You know what? We don't live the way God tells us to live, but we want to blame Him for what happens to our lives. And evolution, totally, it gets blown away by cancer because we're not evolving away from any kind of diseases. We're actually gaining more. So much for evolution. Evolution sucks for one thing. If a Big Bang happened and all the Earth and Jupiter and Mars and the Moon, which there's water, ice caps on Mars, there's on the Moon, there's on Jupiter. Find water on all the planets, but we don't find one bit of life. There's only life right here. You know why? Because this is where God created it. If there's going to be life on any other planets, it's going to be because we put it there. But it starts where God created it. God exists, and I'm right. And when you die, you're in big trouble. If God doesn't exist and you're right, then I'm okay. I mean, I'm fine, you're fine, everybody's fine. But if I'm right, you're in big trouble. I'd rather be on my side. Peace.